So next, problem number 4. The following was the balance sheet of Unsound Limited as at 31st March 2015. When it was wounded up means that is winding up voluntarily. Liabilities, assets. So they are given profit and plant and machinery, furniture, investment, stock, debtors of 2 lakhs, cash 1,200, profit and loss account deficit, that is debit balance 4,47,800. And coming on to the liabilities side, 50,000 equity share of rupees 10 each, 5 lakhs, 2,006% preference share of 100 each, 2 lakhs, 7% debenture 1 lakh, and sundry creditors, trade worth of that 3 lakh, cash of 48,000, outstanding 2,000. So next year, preference dividends are in arrears for 1 year. So dividends on preference share is arrears for 1 year. Debenture interest is also due for 1 year. All the outstanding creditors are preferential. So outstanding in the creditors is preferential, that is preferential creditors. The assets realized as follows: plant and machinery 2,80,000, furniture 400, debtors 1,50,000. The stock and investment realized nothing. So if it is realized nothing means that is not taken into consideration. Next, the expenses of liquidation amounted to 2,000. The liquidator is entitled to a commission of 4% on the assets realized. So in the last problem I said, in the question says in the remuneration, if the question says assets realized means you will be only taking the given assets and not the cash balances. If the question says it is amount realized means you will be taking asset as well as the cash balances. But in this question they are given the asset realized, so no, we will be not taking cash, only the assets which has been realized will be taken for the purpose of calculating remuneration. And 2% on the amount paid to unsecured creditors. So and 2% on the amount payable to unsecured creditors. So here one more thing you are supposed to understand is that when there is nothing is given including preferential creditors or excluding preferential creditors, it is known that it should be considered that we are supposed to take preferential creditors as unsecured creditors only. Done. So next is, it is considered, it is including preferential creditors. So next, coming on with the adjustments. So here we will be calculating liquidation remuneration. So 4% on the assets realized. So these are all the assets realized: 2,80,000 of plant and machinery, 400 of furniture, and debtors worth of 1,50,000. So these were the assets there. So we will be taking only plant and machinery, furniture, and then debtors. That is investment and stock has been no value, that has not been realized, that not yet realized, we did not give any value. Cash is there, but in the question for the purpose of calculation of remuneration we should take assets, only assets, not the amount. If the amount is given means we will be taking cash also, and we will not be taking this profit and loss account deficit balance also. So there is only 3 assets realized, so that will be 4,30,400 multiplied by 4% on assets realized, that will be 17,216. So next, coming on to 2% on unsecured creditors including preferential creditors. So this I will be teaching you later. Now coming on to the question. So according to, I will be preparing the liquidator's final statement. So here is the final statement. So on the credit side, what you are supposed to write first? You are supposed to write the cash in hand. So in the question we have the cash in hand. Cash in hand is 1,200. We will be taking 1,200. So next, in cash in hand or cash in bank, whatever we need we can consider cash in hand, cash in bank. So next is assets. What are all the assets that has been realized should be taken. So assets realized: plant and machinery, that is 2 lakhs, furniture 400, debtors 1,50,000. So this much is only the assets that has been realized. So this cash, you should remember, only for the purpose of remuneration will not be taking, but for the purpose of preparing final statement will consider that. So on the credit side, first is secured creditors. First you are supposed to see, is there any kind of secured creditors? So there is no secured creditors in the question, will be not taking that. Next, what will be there in the final statement? Next is liquidation expenses. Liquidation expenses, we have the question that is worth of 2000. So next is liquidators remuneration. So on this we have two types, right? So one is 4% on, here question they are given, right? So 4% on asset realized, we even calculated that 4% on asset realized, we calculated that one. So that is 17,216. So that will be 17,216. Next, coming on to the, what is that, 2%. Next given 2% on the amount paid to unsecured creditors. 2% on amount paid to unsecured creditors. So in the question they are not given if it is including preference or excluding preference. If nothing is given, we will be taking as including preferential creditors only. So we will be calculating this later, right? So next we should see to it that if we have any other kinds of debenture in the question. Yes, we have the debenture and also we have the outstanding debenture also, right? So in the question they are given, so debenture value is 1 lakh rupees, percentage of dividend on interest is 7%, and there is also an outstanding for 1 year. So according to this pro forma, what we will be taking first? Outstanding interest on debentures. So next is outstanding interest on debentures. So how to calculate that? What is the value of debenture? 1 lakh multiplied by the percentage of interest is 7%. For how many years it is remaining? It is completely 1 year. That is given in the question, for 1 year. So the answer will be 7,000. 7,000 is the outstanding debentures. So next, coming on to next in the pro forma, it is there is debentures. So what is the value of debenture? That is 1 lakh rupees is the value of debentures. So next, what is there? So next we will be taking, next according to the pro forma, see here we taken this debenture also, there is a preferential creditor. So as I said earlier, we will be taking the preferential to including preferential creditors. So for the purpose of remuneration, only this much will be considered. So according to that, what and all are considered? One is liquidation, here liquidation expenses, assets realized or remuneration on assets realized, interest on debentures. Next is debenture value, that will be 1,26,216. So the amount available now for the payment of unsecured, amount available for the payment of unsecured creditors and preferential creditors is 30,005, that is 3,05,384 rupees. In this value you are supposed to pay for remuneration, and then for preferential creditors, and then for unsecured creditors. So we are supposed to divide among three of them. So first I will be paying for remuneration. So how to calculate? Now as I know in the question, the value of unsecured creditors including preferential dividend is 3,48,000, right? So but the amount available is that 3,53,084. So that is means that it is a deficit. We have a insufficient value, right? So when there is an insufficient value for the payment of unsecured creditors itself, we don't have the sufficient value. At that time the remuneration formula is, well, amount available multiplied by rate of commission divided by 100 plus rate of commission. So here is the formula and the value will be 5,998. First I will be paying for the, here for this 2% of, that is 5,988, As I said earlier, amount remaining will be used first for paying remuneration for liquidator, next for preferential creditors, next for unsecured creditors. Preferential creditor value, in the question they are given what is the value. They are, see, this will not be given kind of preferential creditor, they will be given only outstanding. Here they are giving outstanding creditors or preferential, so this considers preferential. So 2000 worth of preferential creditors, 2000. So next finally I will be paying for unsecured creditors. So the value of unsecured creditors will be balancing figure. So for example, even in the question we have preference dividends or arrears for 1 year. So here according to the question, here after calls in arrears of dividends will be paid. So here in this question we don't even have money for the payment of unsecured creditors. We are deficit, they are the limit, insufficient balance. So if that is insufficient balance, we can't go further. So that means we will be not paying this and all, they will be facing a loss. Even in the question we have preference shares and also equity shares. So now we can pay only up to the unsecured creditors. For them itself it is insufficient. So no money will be paid for arrears of dividends and also preference shareholders and also equity shareholders. So we will be ending up here itself, that is here, and unsecured creditors, any value remaining will be paid to the unsecured creditors and you will be closing the liquidators final statement. So that will be 2,97,396. So it will be totally it is 4,31,600. So asset realized will be used completely for paying until this creditors. So amount available was 3,05,384. In this we paid for remuneration and also preferential creditors, and then remaining is for unsecured creditors and it is paid. So this is all about problem number 4. Thank you.